Premier League, Chelsea.
Oh
My days. Back-to-back league losses for the world champions. Frank, you know I'm coming straight to you. What is going on with your Blues?
Well, I know that, and I was expecting, something, technical problem that I could interfere, my discussion with you, but yes, Chalobah has been red carded, and it's a big factor in maybe the fact that Brighton could win that game. But I think when you are Chelsea and you spend like 300 million pounds on Brighton former players, you expect them to be less good as you should be, and even 10 against 11. So you have no kind of excuses in the fact that even 10 against 11 you should have done better. And the second goal on the header that I saw, I don't know if you're going to see the game, but the goal or not, but Badiashile and Enzo Fernández don't check what's going on behind them. And even if you play 10 against 11, at least if you are Chelsea, you should be capable of getting a draw from that game if you cannot win it. And that's the only thing I can say. And the keeper is completely alone when he makes his header, and after the game, of course, is over. The third goal doesn't even count because you try something and you lose 3-1. But you have, and again, I was talking about that with Newcastle. Sometimes you have to make sure you can draw and get 1 point because maybe you're unfortunate, maybe you've been too clumsy, maybe you're 10 against 11, but that's what it is, and you have to be professional. And on that goal, some players were sloppy, and that's why you lose a game like that. But it's lots of defeats in a short time for Chelsea, so they have to react.
Stevie, you watched this game closely as well. What went wrong for Chelsea?
Well, they were absolutely cruising until they go down to 10 men, quite frankly.
Again?
Yeah, first half, going one up half time, really comfortable. I'm thinking, unless Brighton do something drastic here, like make 4 subs as he sometimes does, the coach. But then when the red card comes, it just encourages Brighton to push forward, push you back. And we know Brighton, if they're on the game and their passing's right, they're going to hurt you, and they're certainly going to hurt you if they've got a man up. And so yeah, it kind of, when the equaliser came from Welbeck, it kind of felt inevitable. At the same time, Reece James, in my opinion, at 2-1, possibly should have had a penalty. Never really saw it again, but I thought it was a penalty. And then, of course, the Kuiper then finishes the game off. But again, to be honest, Chelsea's only got themselves to blame for going down to 10 men.
Once again, for back-to-back games. Well, I tell you who has no blame on themselves. Manchester City, let's talk about them, shall we?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Nato. All right.
Yes, indeed. My boy Nato said, I'm not copying any losses this weekend. Look at him, celebrating, dancing.
Yay.
He needs to do the Erling Haaland peaceful Zen celebration. Nato, you feeling good about City, aren't you? Even though it was Burnley, as you guys consistently remind everybody, like Manchester United, whenever we get any decent performance there. But
hey, calm down.
We're not talking about United today. Nato, you feeling pretty good about City after all the criticism that they came under at the start of the season?
Not necessarily feeling great about them, but I just feel like I can breathe now. I think now they've had a couple of better results, and obviously this one against Burnley is one that was very much expected, and if they didn't win in a significant manner, then it would be critiques levelled at them again. But the fact is, there are 1 or 2 players who are getting into form, one of them being a Phil Foden. You're looking at Doku starting the season really well. Haaland's somehow got 8 goals already this season, so there are positives there. I think Rodri being missing and potentially being injured is a concern, and other players in certain areas, but the fact is they're actually winning some games of football now, and it coincided with, say, Liverpool dropping points, so that gap also doesn't feel as enormous as it did maybe a few days earlier. And yes, they're not a perfect outfit whatsoever, but if they do find form, if they do find key players in form as well, then it can be more positive. But as you say, as you rightly said, City beating Burnley is not going to be the most memorable result this season. But the fact is, there's still a nice vibe and a nice little feeling going into the game against Monaco in midweek in the Champions League.
I don't understand Natum. I really don't. See, in the early part of the season, the house was on fire. We bring him on the show, and everybody's having a go at Manchester City. Everybody's having a go at Natum. And he was all Mr. Positive and happy about Manchester City. It's like, oh, things are going to be okay. And Pep Guardiola's going to get it right. And I believe in what we're doing. And this, that, and the other. Now that they actually won a couple of games, now it's like, well, I'm not. It's really
a little down.
Yeah. So what, are we not celebrating wins anymore? Is this what happens?
Natum's cool.
No.
He's level-headed.
He's diplomatic.
He's diplomatic, exactly.
no. Okay.
I just know I'm not allowed to enjoy City winning a game against Burnley because I'll get laughed out of the room. So I'm just going to play it down. Hopefully when they win another game, like unfortunately, I couldn't talk about that game against United, whenever that was. But in the future, should that happen again, please make sure I'm on and make sure Alexis is hosting.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
All right.
I was giving you your flowers, Natum. When have I ever laughed at you and Manchester City wins? Never. Because they have come thick and heavy these last couple of years, let me tell you.
Hey, really, calm down.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't get involved.
Stevie and Frank are the only ones rattled from popping L's this week.
You're trying to prop up Manchester United now. Good luck with that.
No, not propping up Man United. I'm just saying I would never get on Natum's case.
Okay.
Ever.
All right.
Right then, Blues, let's have a proper chat about what's gone wrong at Stamford Bridge, shall we? Another afternoon that's left us scratching our heads. Another performance that's got Chelsea fans questioning just what's happening to our beloved club. Yesterday's 3-1 capitulation to Brighton wasn't just a defeat, it was a proper reality check that's left many of us wondering who exactly is to blame for this mess. The facts are stark, and they're bloody frustrating. For the second weekend running, we've watched our boys throw away what should have been a comfortable victory. For the second weekend running, we've seen a red card completely change the complexion of a match. And for the second weekend running, we're left picking through the pieces of another Premier League defeat that simply shouldn't have happened. Before we dive deeper into this analysis, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell, because with performances like this, we're going to need all the support we can get to get through this season together. Your subscription helps us bring you the most honest, no-nonsense Chelsea coverage week in, week out. Now, let's talk about what actually happened at the Bridge. Enzo Maresca's side started brilliantly, dominating possession with 70% of the ball in the first half, creating chances galore, and taking a deserved lead through Enzo Fernández's header. Everything looked rosy. Everything suggested we were about to put Brighton to the sword and get back to winning ways after last week's nightmare at Old Trafford. But then came that moment in the 53rd minute that changed absolutely everything. Trevoh Chalobah, caught out by a dreadful pass from Andrés Santos, brought down Diego Gomez as the Brighton player raced through on goal. VAR had a proper look, decided it was a clear goal-scoring opportunity denied, and off went Chalobah with a straight red. Sound familiar? Because it bloody well should. We were in this exact same position just 7 days earlier when Robert Sanchez saw red against Manchester United. The collapse that followed was as predictable as it was painful to watch. Danny Welbeck, that old thorn in our side, equalised with a brilliant header, showing exactly the kind of composure and finishing ability that our own forwards seem to lack when the pressure's on. Then came the real gut punch, Maxim de Kuyper's header in the 92nd minute to put Brighton ahead, followed by Welbeck's second to complete a stunning comeback that left Stamford Bridge half empty before the final whistle. So who's to blame for this latest shambles? The finger-pointing starts with Chalobah himself, whose moment of madness cost us dearly. But hang on a minute, let's not forget about Santos's absolutely woeful pass that put his teammate in that impossible position in the first place. The young Brazilian has shown promise, but that kind of sloppy play at this level simply isn't acceptable. Maresca himself isn't escaping criticism either. The Italian's post-match comments about giving presents to opponents through red cards hit the nail on the head. But where's the accountability? Where's the work being done on the training ground to prevent these recurring disasters? 2 red cards in 2 games isn't bad luck. It's a pattern, and patterns need addressing. Then there's the broader question about this squad's mentality. When we go down to 10 men, we seem to lose all composure, all organisation, all belief. The best teams in the Premier League know how to manage these situations. They dig in, they show character, they find a way to grind out results even when everything's against them. We don't, and that's becoming a serious problem. The statistics don't lie either. Before Chalobah's dismissal, we'd outshot Brighton 9-0 inches the first half. 9 shots to none. We were absolutely cruising, controlling every aspect of the game, yet somehow, some way, we managed to turn that dominance into a humiliating defeat. That takes a special kind of incompetence, and it's happening far too regularly for comfort. Maresca'S tactics after the red card also deserve scrutiny. The decision to immediately bring on 2 defenders and sacrifice attacking players might have seemed logical, but it invited pressure that eventually became unbearable. Sometimes you've got to be brave. You've got to try to score that crucial second goal, even with 10 men. Instead, we retreated into our shell and hoped for the best. What's particularly galling is that we've spent over £300 million on former Brighton players in recent transfer windows. João Pedro, who starred in our FIFA Club World Cup triumph, wasn't even available for this match, while other big money signings continue to flatter to deceive when the pressure's really on. The injury to Reece James early in the second half didn't help matters either, forcing another reshuffle just when we needed stability. Our captain's fitness issues continue to be a major concern, and his absence from key moments in matches is becoming a recurring theme that the medical staff and coaching team need to address urgently. Looking ahead, this result leaves us with serious questions about our Premier League ambitions this season. Last year's Conference League and Club World Cup triumphs feel like distant memories when we're producing performances like this in domestic competition. The gap between our European success and Premier League struggles is becoming harder to explain away. Credit where it's due, Brighton deserve enormous praise for their comeback. Fabian Hürzeler's substitutions were inspired, particularly bringing on Welbeck and De Kuyper, who between them scored all 3 goals. It's the kind of tactical flexibility and impact from the bench that we're still waiting to see consistently from our own setup. The bottom line is this: we can't keep making the same mistakes and expect different results. 2 red cards in 2 games, 2 leads thrown away, 2 defeats that could easily have been victories. The pattern is clear, the problems are evident, and the solutions need to come quickly if we're going to salvage anything meaningful from this season. Maresca'S honeymoon period is well and truly over. The patience of the Stamford Bridge faithful is wearing thin, and rightly so. We've got the players, we've got the resources, but what we're lacking is the consistency, the mentality, and the tactical nous to compete at the highest level week in, week out. The blame for yesterday's defeat can be shared around plenty of players and staff, but ultimately, the responsibility lies with everyone connected to this football club. From the boardroom to the dressing room, from the coaching staff to the players themselves, everyone needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask whether they're really giving everything for this badge.